Hey, been a while since I did any long-form videos. My name is Mono, I'm primarily a Sonic artist, but I also dabble in creature/animal art in general, and with ArtFight 2025 just around the corner, this will be my third year participating in the event. But it wasn't that long ago that I was like many other artists who saw this giant event on the horizon with a huge social media presence to match, only to be a bit intimidated and unsure of how or if I should participate. It was the next big thing that all of the artists I looked up to were doing. I had so many doubts. Was I good enough? Would I accidentally break a rule? Would people hate my art and chase me off the website? Heck, I actually signed up for ArtFight in 2020, picked Team Spice, but never made an attack. It was only 3 years later, during Werewolves vs. Vampires, that I finally got over my anxiety. So, with that said, welcome to Tips for Brand New Art Fighters. It's your first year on the scene and you have no idea what to do. Or maybe you've never heard of ArtFight till now and you're curious. Come one, come all, cause I'm about to give you the tips I wish I had during my first year of ArtFight. Number 1. Make sure to fill out your profile, and try to add a few characters to your page. I think one of the biggest things I see with new art fighters is that they don't really fill out their profiles, or they only add 1 or 2 characters to their gallery without any tags or much of a description to go with. While there's nothing wrong with this, if your name is still gray because you're new, people might be hesitant to draw your characters because they may assume you're inactive or won't participate in the fight. ArtFight as a site can be challenging to grasp at first, so I highly recommend taking some time before the fight begins on July 1st to really fill out your profile. You don't need fancy coding, just tell the site a bit about yourself. You can add things like your pronouns, what type of characters you will and won't draw, whether you're okay with doing revenge or friendly fire, characters you may want drawn more than others, etc. If you have any boundaries around your characters, for example, maybe you don't want people drawing them gender bent or whatever, I would add that to your global permissions and or a character's individual permissions in your settings. As for characters, it is better to have at least one clear full body reference of each character, preferably with minimal or no shading, or have their color palette readily available. However, an iffy reference is better than no reference. And you really shouldn't stress yourself out if it's too much to make new references for every single character. Just make sure to throw some tags onto them. Examples include human, anthro, furry, Mobian, bird, whatever fits. Before I move on to the next tip, if you don't have a ton of characters, you can also create a new character on the site, but label it as Draw Me an OC, where you allow other artists to create new OCs for you, which they will submit as an attack. You can also use the character description to tell other people if you have any preferences for what kind of characters you'd like to receive. Number 2. Attack. This tip is for when the fight begins. As a new user, I'm not saying this to be mean to you, but you shouldn't expect to receive attacks right away. Not that you don't deserve them. Like I said, some people may hesitate because you're new, and they're not sure if you'll be active or if you'll understand the etiquette of the site. Think of it as the time to prove yourself. Find a few characters, preferably before July 1st, since the ArtFight site infamously goes down at the start of the fight each year, and draw them once the fight begins. Having a few attacks under your belt will give you a super high attack ratio, which will make other artists feel more comfortable attacking you, so hopefully you'll start receiving some of your own. If you've done a decent amount of attacks and still haven't gotten any revenges or defenses, there are tons of artists out there who specifically make art for people who haven't received many attacks. Which leads to my next tip. Number 3. Join communities centered around ArtFight. My next tip is to surround yourself in the fight. I think a lot of people get intimidated by ArtFight because of how large it's become. During the fight, you're probably gonna see popular artists posting TikToks or shorts about all of the attacks they're making. And when you go to check their page, you'll see they've received so much gorgeous art from people who, just like you, probably saw them online. But that's probably not gonna be you during your first year unless you're popular or a content creator. ArtFight does have an amazing community when you look outside of what normally shows up in your algorithm though. Personally, I highly recommend joining the official ArtFight Discord server, which will help you find artists with similar interests. The official server also has a target hunting channel specifically for helping artists find folks they're interested in making attacks for. But admittedly, the server does get very busy during ArtFight, so I recommend searching for smaller Discord servers that also participate in the fight. If you're involved in any fandoms, definitely look for fandom servers that have ArtFight channels, since it'll be much easier to be seen in those servers. If you have any art mutuals with their own servers, try those too. However, with that advice, I do want to mention that it is important to have etiquette. Please don't go into random small servers just to promote your art fight. Try to actually talk to people in the community and maybe even make some attacks for members of those servers if you like their characters. If you're not on Discord, there's also Twitter communities, Tumblr tags, and all that jazz. I'm sure if you search on any image-based social media, you'll find somewhere to go. And hey, might as well do a quick plug. If you're into Sonic art, I highly recommend my own server, Monochroma. We have a super chill and sweet community, which you can find the link for in the description. Of course, you don't have to draw Sonic art to join though. Plenty of our artists draw other things too. We have an ArtFight Links channel and an ArtFight chat channel, so you can share your profile and talk about the fight with everyone else. Let's move on though. Number 4. So you heard me earlier when I mentioned etiquette, right? My next tip is about that. Etiquette doesn't just apply to any communities you join for ArtFight. It also applies to the site itself. Look, I'm not here to give you anxiety. I know I had plenty when I started ArtFight, but I do want to remind people as ArtFight grows larger and gets more hype around it, to please be mindful of people's boundaries when you draw their characters. I mean, the permissions section exists for a very good reason, and if you can't draw a character within that person's boundaries, there's really no issue with just skipping over it. Heck, most boundaries are super reasonable, but sometimes you might even stumble across an artist with some insanely strict boundaries you just don't vibe with. But I'm not talking about crazy boundaries. Unfortunately, in recent years, ArtFight has had some issues surrounding artists whitewashing POC characters, not respecting character sexualities or genders, drawing strangers' characters in insensitive ways as a joke, and similar stuff in that vein. While this isn't something I think you should expect to happen to you, it has become enough of a problem that it deserves to be brought up and acknowledged. Please, 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 don't be that guy. This type of stuff puts both artists in a super awkward position, so again, just please read up on what an artist is and isn't okay with for their character, and maybe don't give your attacks insensitive titles or draw characters in jokey ways that could be interpreted as negative if you and that artist aren't already familiar with each other. Obviously, I don't want anyone to feel like they need to walk on eggshells, just be respectful. Finally, tip number 5. It's okay to be a beginner artist. It's okay to have messy art. It's okay to be a slow artist. Social media has really messed with the way a lot of people perceive both art and themselves. And I'm just here to say that ArtFight is meant to be fun. Your skill level or your speed have nothing to do with whether you can join the fight or not. So please, if you're considering joining ArtFight, do it. I really wish that I had participated in Sugar vs. Spice, Cyberpunk vs. Steampunk, and Wither vs. Bloom. I promise there's zero stakes just jumping in. But if you find that ArtFight isn't right for you, or you get stressed out, it's perfectly okay to step away. At the end of the day, this is a game about gifting art to other people. And if you're not having fun, why play? I'd also like to say that if you get tired out during the fight, there's really no pressure to keep going. A ton of artists put pressure on themselves to pump out attacks and get burnt out during ArtFight. For those artists, I just want to remind you to take care of yourself. And while it's super awesome and amazing of you to make art for all those people, your health matters above all else. So please, just take care of yourself. Well, with that being said, I think that rounds off this video. Will you participate in ArtFight 2025? Did any of these tips help you? Do you have any questions about ArtFight? Let me know down below. Don't forget to join my Discord server, and if you'd like to check out my ArtFight page and see how I've handled my first few years on the site, feel free to do so over at MonoX. I'll link that down below as well. Thank you so much for watching, and sorry it's been so long since I made any long-form videos. My life was insanely hectic for a while there, so I've been pretty locked in on projects that have been more manageable for me, aka my Sonic OC design series. As of writing this video, I actually just finished up the design for episode 90, and I'm hoping to reach episode 100 here soon, so yeah. Anyway, it's been fun. Bye guys!